Well, hi. Today is Friday, August 8th, 2025. I'm Todd Studer, and this is Morning Coffee. The Iowa State Fair in full swing. Day 2 is today. I'm planning on going for a day next week and really looking forward to it. Also, a huge thank you to everybody involved with Council Bluffs Farmers Market last night. Had a wonderful time and nice crowd there too. Did very well with the health fair going on in the park. So a little bit warm, but it's summertime, so we can deal with that. Today we are kicking off a series on the area schools, talking with activities directors about what's going to be happening. And we begin today with Luke Peterson, the activities director at Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson High School. So that is on today's show. You know, if you're looking for a laid-back spot with a great food and even better company, come to the Mile Away in Council Bluffs. This family-run bar and grill is your go-to for mouth-watering wings, unbeatable weekly specials, and a welcoming atmosphere that feels like home. In case you didn't know, they are open for lunch now Tuesday through Fridays from 11 to 2. So if you're catching the show this Friday morning, you can head out there for lunch and get a great deal and some great food and a great atmosphere. So they're located on Old Lincoln Highway, just north of Council Bluffs, the perfect place to relax and enjoy good times. Be sure to follow them on Facebook for the latest events and specials. The Mile Away, where great food and great people come together. Big thank you to Bryce Taylor with GLI Insurance Group for being a huge supporter of what we do here at Les Hills Media and on Morning Coffee. Bryce and I go out and bring you restaurant reviews in the area. We'll have another one coming up very, very soon. Our last one, we went to Mofish, so go back and check out that episode. That Mofish was a great, great place. And our next restaurant review is coming up very, very soon. If you would like to see us visit one of your favorite places, leave a comment here on the show, and we'll get it on the list. Attention developers, engineers, and tech innovators, mark your calendars for AIM Institute's Heartland Developers Conference. It's going on September 30th and October 1st at the Mid-America Center in Council Bluffs. You know, for over 15 years, the Heartland Developers Conference has been the go-to event for Silicon Prairie developers. There's going to be keynote speakers. There'll be deep dive breakout sessions, an exhibitor hall, hands-on demos, and invaluable networking opportunities. So if you're ready to level up your skills, visit hdc.aiminstitute.org to get registered. As we mentioned, this morning's guest on Morning Coffee, we're headed over to Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson High School to talk with Activities Director Luke Peterson. Good to see you, sir. You're looking good. How about that?
Well, you know, summertime, you get to get a little sun, you get a little outside, you do some things. Baseball and softball went well, and you know, we had some good stuff there. We made some real good inroads with the baseball team. Did well, doubled up his wins from the year previous. Had a first-team all-conference player with Garrett Denman. Softball did well. I think, you know, things are moving in the right direction. And Shea Patterson and Dave Lutz, both of them, really do a great job coaching both of those teams in the summertime. Which, you know, that's a crazy schedule. You know, we're pretty much on every day in June. There's a lot of stuff going on in June, and then it ends right around the 4th of July. So that's a busy month, the month of June. Everybody's off of school, but baseball and softball are going strong. So
I didn't do too deep of a dive into this, but I saw something online, and if it's on the internet, it must be true, that Iowa is Iowa the last state still doing high school softball and baseball in the summertime?
Yeah, I mean, you know, even just across the river, obviously they do Legion ball in the summer, and girls softball's in the fall. I think that it's just kind of it's an interesting concept. I mean, if you go back in history and look at our state championships at Thomas Jefferson in baseball, there were years where they played the extended season when they still played in the Metro. And so some of those guys that were around back there in the 60s, in the 70s, when they were winning those state championships, they talk about that, how it was almost at the time such a huge accomplishment to win the conference, the Metro, and then start playing and winning a state championship in Iowa, you know, 2 months later. It was pretty cool to talk to some of those guys about that. It's pretty neat. Obviously, they couldn't do a state championship in Nebraska because they were across the river as far as the conference went. But there were years where they won the Metro Conference with all the Omaha schools and then also won a state championship in Iowa the same year.
What I loved about it, and this goes back to my time too, you know, in the early to mid 80s when I hit high school, that I could play baseball before I got to high school.
Yeah.
I could play varsity high school baseball.
Yeah.
And by the way, I had to, because I had a classmate of mine and I that were both on the team. That took us to 10 players.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Okay. So
So
you had to.
we had to. And I was out in right field, and my friend Jimmy was playing second base. So
That's
that was
cool. And it is neat because really it's the only sport where really our kids they can get 5 years. You get
Right.
5 playing seasons to do that. And so with our seniors, it's kind of a cool thing because a lot of them obviously are there and they are playing after they graduated. Like that's their extended
Right.
school year. So it's kind of cool for them because they don't really have the school part anymore, but they get to end their high school career after they've graduated, which is a cool thing, and they like it. So the senior night, I think, for baseball and softball has a little bit more to it, only because they realize that that's kind of like the end of the whole thing, for them. But it's good group of kids. The seniors that we graduated on this year, they did a lot of good things with culture and obviously on the field and off the field. So we really look forward to seeing what they do at the next level. So.
Well, TJ able to put that exclamation point on the end of the previous year. And now, just like that, you're moving into the next year in fall sports. Well, they're already practicing, right?
Well, the only one that's practicing as of today is girls tennis. They started on Monday, but all of fall sports start practice on August 11th, on Monday. And basically, there's been things going on as far as obviously the weight room is every day. We've got a lot of kids been in the weight room doing stuff there with our strength coach and our strength program. So that's been working out really well. And then there's open gyms for basketball and volleyball, some different things. Football is able to do a team camp, but they also do 7v7 leagues that they have been in. So we did some good work with that over across the river with some of the Millard schools and around the area. So it's been good. Volleyball went to Northwest Missouri State for a camp down there, and football went to Simpson for a camp there. So we're looking forward to it. We're just trying to build on the momentum, like you said, and continue the success, and we're looking forward to it in the fall and obviously beyond. This is year 4 as far as our administrative regime here at TJ, and we're really, I think, making inroads. I mean, on the flip side of that, our principal, Mike Naughton, was at SAI, which is a conference for administrators in Iowa, and he actually presented yesterday on the progress that we've made in academics here at TJ for the state. So that's a big thing that you get recognized at that level for it. So we're looking for the same type of things through athletics and try to get us back on the map for a lot of those things. And I don't know if you saw or heard, they had a football media day the other day.
I did. It was live. Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was just like they do like with the Big Ten and the other conferences where you got the coach and 3 players up there and gave the kids a chance to talk. And that was neat to see that. I mean, it was cool to see all the area teams up there and to listen to that. And we're looking for good things. So that was a cool event. But it's just building momentum, like you said, and building on the positives and continuing to improve and looking and doing anything that we can to improve. So,
you and I first spoke wasn't long after you came into your position, I don't think, and you were talking about in putting back an increase in pride in the school and in the community and what it was you were doing. We're not saying it was down to 0, but just you wanted to see people and the young people feel proud of the school that they went to. And I can see that is a huge component in what you're talking about with things progressing and building on momentum.
Yeah, and you want to portray not just for the kids. I mean, obviously that's the most important part, but for the community, it's portray a positive light, when they come and when we hear things and we see things from, other schools, and when people come and visit our school or they come to a game and they see the differences, not just in our facilities, which we've made a ton of improvements on facilities, but also just in the way that our players and our coaches hold themselves and how we represent what it means to be a Jacket. And I think that is important to, get rid of some of the myths of, maybe what TJ was like or what the people were like, because we're surrounded by great people. I mean, our people are great. Our kids are great. We've got so much support from the community and the people that are here, and people that have, stayed in town that went to school here. I mean, they're coming back and they're following us on social media. And, my social media pages for the school here are through the roof as far as followers go. And we get a lot of good help with that from the district as well, which is nice. But it really is a thing where, like, now we're in the last phase of in the TJAC, which is that separate building behind our building where our main gym is. We got a facelift in our gym this year over the summer, and we're just finishing that up and changing some different things with the facilities and concession stands and all sorts of stuff that we're just trying to do to make sure that, our kids are proud of what we have, and that the face, when you come to the building, we've got graphics up and window things and a lot of stuff that just tells everybody about our pride. And that's what our motto is Jacket Pride. And I think this year we're just going to continue to build on that. And it helps that our coaches are all on board with it and the kids get on board with it. And, those things, as take a little time to get some traction. But I think that it really has worked. And generally speaking, if one way that we can gauge that is by, again, with social media and things that are occurring is your participation and your viewership. You obviously know those types of metrics as well. And I think that ours have continually been going up in each and every year. So we're really excited about it, and the kids are really buying into it. And like I said, and I'll say it till I can't talk anymore, is our kids are great, and they buy in and they love it, and they love the recognition that we give them, and they work harder. I think that drives them and motivates them, because they realize that the community and all of us are behind them. So they're getting that support. And we just want to make sure that as we move, that it shows the results on the court, on the field, on the mat, everything. So we're really excited.
There was just something that I heard. Actually, it was this morning. One of my favorite podcasters that I listen to, kind of a business coach and motivator, and he talked about skiing and used the analogy of skiing. That if you're doing downhill skiing and you're looking at the trees, you're going to hit the trees.
Yeah.
That's a true thing that happens. Yeah. You cannot look at the trees when you're skiing, otherwise you're going to hit them. And that analogy applies to everything in life.
Yeah.
If you are looking for problems, you'll find them, because they all, good things, bad things, they're all existing at the same time. But if you're looking for the negative, that's all you're going to see. And it causes problems. And that's what I've appreciated that about you from the very beginning, that, we're going to change what we're looking at here.
And I think that it's kind of funny that you said that, because just this morning I was speaking with a colleague who I also do a podcast with, and we were talking about that, is where does your focus go? Is your focus on the positive, or is your focus on things that are negative? Because we all know in this day and age that a lot of those things get sensationalized one way or the other. And if we're going to do that, we want the sensationalization to be on something positive, not on something negative. So I think that that's a great point. That's a great analogy with the trees and skiing, because that's probably why I don't downhill ski anymore. That was a long time ago. And, there was a few trees that probably wish they never met me either. So
let's talk about the fall season, Luke, that's coming up. What is the atmosphere? What kind of excitement are you hearing about the football season?
We've got a great group of seniors that are up. Our senior classes have been a little small this year. We've got upwards of 18 or 19 seniors that are on the gridiron. So we're looking forward to that. And, 3 years ago when our coach took over, that was one of the things that we always talked about, was we were young. We had freshmen and sophomores playing at the varsity level, which is difficult, not just the mental part of the game, but obviously the physical part. They weren't quite ready, but we've made great strides in the weight room. And I think that some of the shuffles that he's had with the coaching staff has helped. I think they're more focused, and I think they've learned a ton of lessons. You might look at their win-loss record from his first year. They had 3 wins, and last year they only had 1. But some of those games we were 1 or 2 scores away from, turning the corner. But I think that they learned a lot of lessons from those games and from those losses that they had. So I think our seniors are really turning up and taking that leadership role, much like we are in any of our other sports. But on that, that note, we look at our season. We start out on the road at Sioux City West, So that should be a good matchup, it's kind of fun because obviously we don't play conference football in the state of Iowa. So to play an actual team from our conference is kind of neat to be able to do that, since we've never really done that here, especially since I've been here. But come back home, play Storm Lake, which is always a good matchup for us the last 2 years. And then, another tough one on the road, we play Sergeant Bluff, who's really good. But it's a good test early in the season. Then, of course, come back for Game 4, which is the crosstown with AL on September 19th. So we're looking forward to that. And I think that leading into our district play, from Game 5 on, our district is one of the toughest in 4A across the state, if anybody takes a look at it. And it did change a little bit. We've got Boone and ADM in our district now. So it's a little bit different, but it's tough teams, and it's every week you've got a game, on hand, and you've got a chance. And if they want to hang a banner and make it to the playoffs, they've got a good chance to do that, I think, each week, to prove that they, can be there. And I think that we have a really good, solid core of players that have bought in to the concepts. And I think that it's exciting. We're looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good season. And, we just want to, our seniors have talked about it, how they've played together for so long since they were, in elementary school. And they've always talked about it. And I know a lot of those kids really well. And I just hope that they can realize their dreams. That was always their thing. They wanted to hang a banner. So I'm hoping that they can realize those and work through the issues. And I think the biggest thing that we've looked at with our sports in general, not just football, is, again, kind of going back to that positive outlook, is that, if there's a bad play or somebody makes a mistake or whatever it is, it's just like life. You can't dwell on it. Guess what? The next play is coming 25 seconds later. You better be ready, because all of a sudden then your mistakes string into something else. And I think that's a big thing that we've stressed with our coaches in all of our sports, not just football, but in all of them. And so I'm looking forward to see how that turns out on the field.
Yeah. What's the Ted Lasso quote? Be a goldfish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just forget about it. We're on to the next thing.
100%.
Football gets the spotlight, and that's reality, and that's everywhere. That this is the kind of the flagship of the fall sports season. However, you got a lot of student athletes that are pouring their heart and souls into a number of different sports in the fall, and they're getting ready to get after it and looking for a successful season too.
And like I said, girls tennis, the state moved that to the fall this year, so that's new. Those girls, we did graduate some seniors from there too. It was a really good group. They had 12 wins last year, tied a school record for wins in girls tennis last year. And so they just played in the spring. Now they're starting again in the fall. So it's a new group there with a new coach as well, obviously, because my girls tennis coach was also my boys golf coach. So he couldn't do both sports in the fall. So he had to step back from girls tennis, but they started practice on Monday. They've got a match already tomorrow. On Friday, and then boys golf, obviously the same thing, picking up on Monday. And then you've got cross country going, which we've got a kid there, that Caden Hamilton, that we've talked about before, that has got a really good shot to make it to state. And volleyball, we had youth camp yesterday, which was great. They start up practice on Monday, but we had youth camp yesterday, and there was over 100 kids at that. So I think that our volleyball team and our program there, again, going to team camp down at Northwest Missouri State, Coach K has done a great job, and I think she's getting that program headed in the right direction. We're looking forward to that. And over that summer, there's so many things going on with the teams, and even looking forward, our girls basketball program has struggled a bit in the past, but our new coach there, he'll be entering his second year as head coach, and he's done a great job over the summer. We had a college coach come in and do a clinic with them, which was great. Boys took a trip over to Waterloo, and we're at a team camp there. So it's just really building on things, and there's so many things happening in the fall. Even the band, the band is out in the mornings,
Oh, they're the unsung heroes.
I mean, there's so many things. It's great. It's just great to see, it's great to hear. And our choir was at a Morningside State camp yesterday. I mean, we've got so many things going on. It's just great to see kids involved, and we always want those numbers to go up, because every research that you'd ever read is going to be that the kids that are more involved are going to be better successful in school, which is obviously our goal. We want them to graduate on time and to be able to move on to, something else. And obviously at our school, it's diploma plus one. So it's a diploma plus another credential that they're going to get on some level. Either they get that from Iowa Western, or there's, advanced classes that they can take to do that. But that's our district goal, and we've been doing really well with that. So it kind of goes hand in hand with everything.
It's exciting to hear about all of the different things going on. I did want to ask you, though, with moving tennis, the girls' tennis, to the fall,
yeah,
was there any conflict at all for any of the students that may have wanted to do both volleyball and tennis? Did that come up?
Yeah, there's been some. A lot of the talk with the moving of things from fall to spring with those sports like golf and tennis, a lot of it centered more around the smaller schools, who are obviously sharing a lot more, less athletes, but they're more spread out. There was always going to be some, but what it came down to was some weather, some things going on with, because initially there was going to be a move to move boys tennis as well. But they kind of backed off of that a little bit to make sure that we can try to, as best we can, kids are able to do two sports if they want to in the same season, but generally the way it works is they pick the primary one. And if there was matches on the same day for those two sports, they would go with the one that was their primary. That obviously takes a little more work with the coaches communicating with each other and figuring out when practice times are and, who they can share. But we have some kids that have tried to do that in the past, and sometimes it's difficult. It's difficult with the coaches, with the teams, with everybody. But again, there is some, that we looked at and said, well, this kid was probably going to play volleyball, but maybe they like tennis more, or vice versa. So there's always that thing that we struggle with at times, but we just do the best we can and work within whatever the parameters are that we have.
Well, before we let you go, Luke, how's your podcast going? I was excited when I heard you guys were doing that.
We took a few weeks off. We all three of us had kind of vacations planned a little bit, so we took a few weeks off. We just dropped another episode last week, which will be coming out this week, but we're going to start kicking it back up here that school's going on. And listeners have been going up, and our topics have been getting a little wider as far as different things that we can do. So we're looking forward to building on it and building it into more. So that's something else we can talk about at some point. I know you had some ideas for me.
Yeah, I'd love to sit down and have that conversation. And I'd also hope that we're going to, let's keep this going throughout the school year. I'd like to have you on regular 100%. And we can learn more and stay up to date about everything that's happening at TJ.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. Last thing was in the summer we did a school fundraiser for we got the fireworks tent over here at the Hy-Vee across the street from school.
I remember,
which was a very eye-opening experience for me. I was just amazed at the support that we had from the community, and it was a great fundraiser for us. And so many people that came in to the tent, and they knew that we were supporting, that we were hosting it, and would say things about it. And actually there was a few people that came in and they had heard your show and had said that they heard the episode that I was on before,
right? And
they talked about it. So it was cool to hear that. And it's great with the community to hear that they're listening and they're hearing these things, and they see that, there's a lot to offer here. And there's a lot of great things happening, that it's good for you, that we appreciate you getting our word out and getting the good news out, like I said, so that the positives are out and that people can get away from the negatives, because it's going to make the world a better place too, as we're talking about it.
Happy to do it. And that's my mantra is, and we've talked about that before, brighter of a light on the positive, the less comfortable the negative is being around.
Yep. 100%.
And we're just going to keep that rolling until everybody catches on.
Sounds great. We appreciate you, Todd. Thank you.
More area schools coming up next week, and we hope you tune in for that. We've got everybody on the list, and they'll be on the way, and we'll be giving you updates on everything going on at the area schools. S&B Country Kennel has become the top spot in Southwest Iowa when you need to know your dog will receive only the best. Boarding, daycare, grooming, self-washing, training, and even a membership available to a dog park that's over an acre in size. S&B Country Kennel also has rescue dogs, so check with them about adoption possibilities. sbcountrykennel.com. That's country spelled with the K. They're located just west of I-29 on Bungie Avenue, south of Council Bluffs. And if you're looking to elevate your wrestling game, join the best wrestler in Council Bluffs, where champions are forged. Founded by Olympian George Ivanoff and his father, elite coach Ivan Ivanoff, the club is built on 3 pillars: wrestling, academics, and career. Train with world-class coaches who've produced Olympians, world champions, and national title holders. Their state-of-the-art facility at the Iowa West Fieldhouse offers programs for all ages and skill levels. Learn more at thebestwrestler.com. Thank you much, Luke Peterson. Always great to talk to you, and I've enjoyed conversation since you taken over there at TJ. You've done a phenomenal job, and there's a lot of pride roaming the halls now at TJ High School in Council Bluffs, and you're a huge part of that. So thank you so much for being a part of today's show. That's going to wrap up the show and the week. We're very happy that you've been a part of things, and we're looking forward to a very full week next week. My name is Todd Studer. Have a wonderful weekend.